Hey guys, what's up? This is Ginger Fox, your girl Ginger Fox here, sorry. I'm gonna be reading book 2, chapter 16. Now, I did chapter 15, but I forgot to get rid of my storage, and I messed up on that. So, I can do this one, and what I'm gonna see if I can do is if I can go back after I beat this book and redo over chapter 15 if I can. If I can't, that's fine, but I'll basically just let you guys know what's going on right now. So basically what happened was in chapter 15, what happened was I wore the Killington dress, but I had an option to switch to my main dress, which was the dress you see that I am wearing now in the story right now. That is the dress I am wearing because I did not want to wear the dress that the Duke wanted me to wear. I did not want that, so I collected the diamonds to not wear that dress. And my grandmother, at the end of the story, my grandmother came in to stop the wedding and sing with the queen. So that's where we ended off too. The queen and my grandmother stopped the wedding right there and then. So they're going to end this, and we have proof of the Duke trying to do stuff in the past. He was doing bad stuff in the past and forcing me into the wedding, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So what I'm going to see is if I can play chapter 15 after I finish this chapter, and if I can't, then I'll play more after anyways. But hopefully I can replay chapter 15 and go from there. But yeah, basically, chapter 15 basically about me preparing for the wedding, and he tried to force me to wear the dress, but I'm wearing my Edgewater dress because I am not wearing the Killington dress because I refuse to, and I'm wearing my crown of the Edgewater, and he had guards to watch over me because he did not want me to escape. And yeah, so basically I got some alone time with Miss Parsons too, and I gave her a kiss before she left, and I objected to the wedding, and I said I will not, and that is when my grandmother and the queen came in. Let's get into this, guys. Hopefully I can go back to chapter 15, but we'll see. Book 2, chapter 16, the final vow. It's the day of your wedding to Duke Richards, and Queen Charlotte has just demanded a halt to the wedding proceedings, like I said. I said stop at once. I'm saved. My grandmother really wasn't joking about getting the evidence into the right hands. Evidence? What are you? Damn, Countess Dominique has brought some urgent information to my attention regarding this union. Indeed, this entire affair is nothing more than a sham. However, I wish to hear it directly from the source. Lady Claire, would you care to enlighten me? Nothing would make me happier, Your Majesty. He turned to the Duke with a victorious smile. Duke Richards, you may want to sit down for this. I hope you enjoy your final moments of freedom. Duke Richards has been orchestrating a treasonous plot to unseat the Prince Regent and take the throne for himself. The crowd draws in a sharp collective breath. The audacity! How dare you accuse me of such malfeasance? I hope you understand the severity of these allegations, especially against my husband's kin. Please, I must hear everything you know. Yes, I understand better than anyone how serious this is. Miss Daly, the evidence? Briar rushes to your side, pulling the documents from your ridicule. Take him down, Claire. Listen to me, everyone, and I will prove Duke Richard's treachery. What was this? Leaders. One of these ledgers shows the Prince Regent's expenses. It was copied directly from the treasury. But how? The Duke had help on the inside. The other ledger, which shows Duke Richard's expenses, includes weapons and the ingredients to make gunpowder. He was arming himself and his ally to take the throne by force. Fabricated, surely. I've never seen that volume in my life. When we got those ledgers, we also found a very distinctive signet ring. All the Duke's conspirators had one. They used them to seal their correspondence. But that's not all. This is an advertisement for one of the Duke-Richards anti-mockery meetings. We found that in his rooms at Edgewater, and I saw them being handed out along the road to Bath. Clearly, he was trying to stir up animosity towards Prince Regent. Clearly, Lady Claire planted it. Why were you in my rooms at all? You displayed a newspaper clipping featuring Sir Gideon. This article depicts a close friend of Duke Richards, Sir Gideon. He was meant to be exiled, but he was at the same dinner we were at the Edgewater estate. Hogwash! I knew nothing of this Sir Gideon fellow. This is when I realized that the Duke wasn't working alone. He had allies in his quest to usurp the throne, making him even more dangerous. My friends and I were attacked on the road from Edgewater to Gloucestershire. Our assailants dropped this. You hold the paper out for the Queen and your audience to see. Queen Charlotte takes the pamphlet and reads it carefully. I see. What is it? A pamphlet rambling the Prince Regent, someone who was trying to stir unrest amongst the commoners. You cannot possibly tie that to me. I couldn't when I found it, but I still have more to show you all. Lady Grandmother, would you show everyone the pages from Duke-Richards' private journal? With pleasure, my dear. She plucks the paper from her reticule and presents it to the crowd. How did you get? This shows the Duke wanted to marry a low-born girl like me as a pawn to gain the trust of the common people. He explicitly writes that without me as his wife, he would not be able to overthrow the Prince Regent. But Lady Claire is no one's pawn. Lady Claire is full of lies. This doesn't belong to me. No? Then perhaps we should compare it to your other correspondence. The hand is identical. If all this isn't enough to convince you, Your Majesty, we have one another. The Duke, he's making a run for it. You turn to find Duke Richards bolting for a door near the altar. You won't have me. Trip him. No, you don't. Quickly stride forward and thrust your foot into the Duke's path, and he goes tumbling to the ground. Woof! One of the Queen's guards instantly rush up, fleeing Duke Richards to his feet and restraining him. Let go of me! Will you truly believe this mad woman over Duke Tristan Richards? Duke Richards thrashes against his captors, but they drag him back to the front of the altar. The Queen shakes her head and returns her attention to you. Now that's finished. I believe there was another piece of evidence. Your grandmother produces the Duke's signet ring from her reticule and hands it to you. This is Duke Richard's signet ring, the one he used to seal his documents. It bears a striking resemblance to the one that we acquired along the ledgers. I'd never seen that ring in my life. Surely it's some trick of this little witch. If that's so, then why is it engraved with the initials RK? For Richards and Carrington. You take hold of Duke Richards' hand with a triumphant smile and slide the ring onto his finger. A perfect fit. This proves nothing. This evidence is fabricated, all of it. I have heard quite enough, Duke Richards. You are hereby stripped of all your lands and titles. You will be taken to London at once to stand trial for high treason. Good. Traitors like him don't deserve to live. I will take your suggestion under advisement, but no matter what, he is Mr. Richards now. You can't take my title from me. It's my birthright. I am the Queen of England, my Richards and Mr. Richards, and I can do as I please. We did it. Let's fucking go. The former Duke Richards clears his throat, tugging against the guards holding his arms. All right, I've been caught, and I will freely submit. But is this wrangling truly necessary? Perhaps. At a difference to your familiar connection to my husband, unhand him. As soon as Mr. Richards is freed, he lunges for Queen Charlotte, producing a knife from his jacket pocket. What the fuck? He grabs the Queen and presses the knife to her throat. Oh! Don't hurt her! He begins pacing backwards towards the chapel door, dragging Queen Charlotte along with him. Now, no one will come to any harm, so long as I'm allowed to leave in peace. You see movement from the corner of your eye, and suddenly Mr. Harper dashing for the Queen and her captor. Unhand Her Majesty! Stay back, or I swear I'll spill her blood. Mr. Harper! Without a moment's hesitation, Mr. Harper grasps Mr. Richards' knife and tosses it several yards down the aisle. Mr. Richards turns to run, but the redcoats make haste and quickly apprehend him. Get your hands off me, filthy commoners. Royal blood flows through my veins. Queen Charlotte takes a moment to collect herself, then turns to Mr. Harper, who instantly knees at her feet. Your Majesty, if I acted too brashly, or harmed you in any way, What is your name? His name is Luke Harper. Luke Harper, for your bravery in defending your queen on this day. She unsheathes the saber from his belt, and delicately places the flat of the blade on his right epaulette, then the left. I dub thee Sir Luke Harper, Knight, Commander of the most honorable military order or Bath. You may rise. I am humbled, Your Majesty. You have elevated a most honorable and heroic man, my queen. Sir Luke, you will also be granted lands befitting a man of your new status. Oh my, this must surely be a dream. This is all very touching, but there is another who should be taken into custody. Lady Clare. She would fool all of you, but I knew she'd been plotting with the Duke. What is all this? Countess Rita. Excuse me? I only mean to expose your treason. But if Edgewater falls to my son as a result, who could complain? Countess Rita, see this nonsense. Nonsense? Unless you can provide evidence, I have no reason to believe that Lady Clare was involved. My friend Dowie, Countess Dominique, whom I trust, assures me that Lady Clare was highly distressed during her engagement. Lady Grandmother, you're friends with the Queen? We had much in common in our youth, as foreign brides and political marriages. We were kindred even before we shared a language to express it. Countess Rita is right about one thing. There is another who should be arrested today. It's true, I may not be able to prove all the Duke's allies conflict, but there is one man. A man second only to the Duke in terms of villainy and influence. Sir Gideon Payne. You point to a seat in the audience and it's empty. He's gone. But how? He can't be gone because he can't have been here. Sir Gideon Payne was exiled from England years ago. The newspaper clipping was the only piece of your evidence I couldn't praise. But we saw him. I understand that you think you did, but it's highly unlikely. He's escaped somehow. Curse his craftiness. He was always the smarter of the two. Mr. Richards, can you confirm or deny Sir Gideon's involvement with your scheme? I won't provide any ammunition of your triumph of case against me. The truth will come out. Indeed, as Sir Gideon is involved, he will see the Crown's justice. However, Lady Clare, for saving the lives of myself and my family, I would like to thank you by officially declaring you Countess Clare, mistress of the Edgewater estate. Your Majesty, my father would be so proud. You offer the Queen a low curtsy, but your eyes flick to Miss Parsons. She beams at you, glowing with pride. Thank you for your diligent service to the Crown. Now, guards, take Mr. Richards away. You watch as two redcoats drag Mr. Richards down the aisle and out the front doors of the chapel. I'll have you ruined for this, Lady Clare. Mark my words. That's it? You don't want to say any final words to him, Clare? Oh, I have plenty of words for him. He's no threat to us anymore. You could tell him exactly what you think of him. I suppose there won't be another chance. Hopefully I never have to lay eyes on him again. Precisely. I know I have a few things I'd like to say. Come to think of it, I would also like to give that oaf a piece of my mind. Then how about this? All of us can go and give Mr. Richards the send-off he deserves. What do you say? I don't have the diamonds! No, I don't want to spend even one more second in that man's presence. I say good riddance to Mr. Richards. It's certainly big of you. I would have the guards hold Mr. Richards while I socked him in the stomach. I would rather make up for lost time with you, Miss Parsons. Somehow I can't bring myself to argue with that. You glance around at the guests, still waiting on pews, shifting uncomfortably. You hear a heavy sigh from the days. Well, this has been rather a disappointment. I would argue quite the opposite, seeing as I'm not married to a traitor. I only meant I was looking forward to joining two souls in holy matrimony. Ah, well, it would have been devoted of all joy without love. Miss Parsons places a hand on your arm and gently pulls you aside. She subtly gestures towards Briar, whose gaze shifts longingly between Mr. Woods and Mr. McCaster. I have an idea. There still can be a wedding today. You're suggesting that either of them would marry Miss Daly in a heartbeat, if only they knew she would say yes. I know she would, and no one is more deserving of such happiness. But which would be her better match? You know her better than anyone, my Claire. If any soul has the answer is you. What do you think? I don't know. I don't have the diamonds. Fuck. It's a kind thought, Miss Parsons. But I think she needs to make this choice herself. It may take some time, but she'll discover what's best eventually. As you say, my beloved, it was only a thought. You turn back to Bishop Monroe. Perhaps the celebration would cheer you up, my lord. Food and libations await in the upper assembly rooms. I would wager the reception will be a great deal more enjoyable than if there had been a wedding today. Yes, for we have a victory to celebrate instead. It would be a shame to let Mr. Richard's hard-earned money go to waste. I'm going to make a part 2. Be right back.